Good morning. Julie is going to share the invocation with us. Julie, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning. I was going to have an Irish blessing, which sounded like fun, but didn't seem appropriate for this morning. So we're going to talk about peace this morning. From fear to trust, let peace fill our hearts, our world, and our universe. Let us dream together, play together, pray together, and work together to build one world of peace and justice for all. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Steve. We are on to announcements. Claudia, come on up.
Good morning, everybody. Our social committee has opportunities to join, and we'd like some volunteers to help us plan the rest of this Rotary year and next Rotary year's social activities. We have our usual lineup, but we think there's some more things that our members might want to do, whether it's sporting activities, family activities. So please contact me or Susan Robinoff if you're interested. It's really easy and it's really fun, and you get to decide things. So give us a call and join the club. Volunteer, whatever. Join the club. That's fun.
And check your email because we have a Wine Not Wednesday coming up a week from Wednesday.
Yes, the announcement went out.
March 9th. March 9th, I believe. Check your email. Let's see. I've got a another reminder about the member-to-member spotlight, and I want to thank Julie Rinaldi and Jean Oliver because I saw that you both signed up. Thank you. But don't look for emails from Claudia. There was one very recently, and there's an opportunity to still sign up and sign up yourself. Someone else will join you. You get to know a little bit about them, and we get to know more about both of you. So that would be great. Does anybody have an announcement about parade marshaling that you'd like to make?
Mike, Claudia sent out an invite yesterday. We're looking for volunteers to do the parade marshaling. I see that a few have already signed up, but it will be 10:15 meeting at Jason's Deli the morning of the parade. Should be wrapped up by 1 o'clock. So just looking for as many volunteers as possible to help with the parade marshaling. Please just sign up via the email that Claudia sent out. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Other announcements. I will announce that we have a board meeting coming up this Wednesday. We are not exactly sure where it's going to be, but we have actually quite a bit of business and some really exciting stuff. We've had 3 different grant proposals put forward that are all really exceptional causes. So the board will be evaluating those on Wednesday, and there's a number of other things happening. I'm not going to be there, but Susan West is going to be leading the meeting, and we don't know where it is, but we will have a place before Wednesday. So if anybody's interested in joining, just reach out to either Susan or Claudia to let them know that you're going to join. And that's it, I think. Okay, Mr. Sergeant is Colonel Dave Williamson.
Good morning, Rotary. Oh, that was weak. That was really weak. I tell you what, Peter Georgeson did something when he was Sergeant at Arms that I've really enjoyed. And I want to lead off that way. But to let you know that today is February 25th. It is the 56th day of this year. Just 309 days remain. But only 302 shopping days till Christmas for all you long-range planners. Today, in case you didn't know, is National Chocolate Covered Nuts Day. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. It's also National Clam Chowder Day and Let's All Eat Right Day. So take your pick, which one do you like, chocolate covered nuts, clam chowder, or eat right? Interestingly though, I don't know if during the course of the week, were you aware that it was Bird Health Awareness Week this week?
No.
Nobody? Okay. How about National Eating Disorders Awareness Week? Were you aware of that? You knew that. Pete knew that. Okay. It was also National FFA Week. So for those future farmers that are out there, it's all been their week. But finally, today is Carrot Top's birthday. So more on that in a moment. Obviously, with Dave being Sergeant at Arms today, its Rotary protocol is in effect. So those of you that are here, I'm looking for three things: your pin, your name tag, and everybody needs to have one or two of these Rotary cards in your wallet, in your purse, so that you can give it to your friends and remind them about our Rotary Club and the things we do and the good times we have. So you need to have all three of those. If you don't, you owe me a buck. So, all right, we have, with the small crowd this morning, we only have $5 in the small pot and $127 in the large pot. We'll draw tickets. The first ticket drawn will obviously have its choice of either the small or large pot. So.
1162.
I got it. All right.
All right, you get your choice, David.
I'll take the small cash.
$5? Okay, $5 is yours. All right, then you get to draw for the large pot.
One, 4, 2.
142. We may have to draw once or twice since I had all those pre-torn tickets thrown in. Well, Rich has it. Very good. Okay, folks, if you haven't got the card, please feel free to stop at the sergeant's table and pick up these cards, but feel free to hand them out to the folks in your neighborhood, anywhere else. Let them know what our Rotary Club does. That's it.
Thank you, Dave. And now I would like to invite up Linda Cochran, who is going to introduce today's speaker, Laura, who's joining us via Zoom.
Good morning, everybody. Small crowd today, but to begin with, I met Laura because I'm a member of a ladies auxiliary called the Butterfly Guild, and we raise money every year for hospice and palliative care at Nationwide Children's Hospital. This is we're doing our 64th production this year, and we're doing Cinderella. We always do a children's musical. We're doing Cinderella at the Palace Theater, and we have 4 productions starting next weekend. And it is a beautiful, lovely show. We've raised over $4 million for the hospital over the years that we've been doing these shows. So, and Laura, hello, Laura, is the manager of the hospice and palliative care program at Nationwide, and she has been for 10 years, and her team serves 85 Central Ohio pediatric patients who are living at home with terminal or life-limiting conditions. In addition to leading the team at NCH, Laura serves as a board member for the Ohio Council for Home Care and Hospice. She attended Xavier University and the University of Cincinnati for bachelor's and master's degree in social work. Before going into hospice and palliative care management in 2012, Laura worked as a pediatric hospital social worker for 12 years at Shriners Burns Hospital for Children and Nationwide Children's. As a social worker, she has worked with families of children with burns, traumatic brain or spinal cord injuries, and was instrumental in developing the hearing and cochlear implant program at Nationwide Children's Hospital. So welcome, Laura. Thank you, Laura.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having me via Zoom. It allowed me to get 3 boys out the door this morning who rival the energy that I'm hearing in this group for bright and early for me. So thanks for the flexibility. I appreciate it. I'm sure there are some members of the Rotary who are active supporters or past supporters of Nationwide Children's Hospital in various ways. So I always want to say thank you for the support that your group contributes to Nationwide Children's Hospital. Couldn't do it without you. Sometimes when I talk about hospice or palliative care, it can be a little bit triggering for people who have had personal loss or experiences with hospice or death of a child. So this is not meant to be a super heavy discussion, but I always like to give a call out that it can be a little bit triggering for people who maybe have personal experience. So like Linda said, we have now up to 90 children who are in a 9-county region, with Franklin County being the center. We're the only pediatric hospice or palliative care program, aside from Cincinnati Children's has a very similar program to ours called Starshine. So if you know of a child who has died at home with hospice or palliative care support, my team were the crew that supported them. Sometimes, I know when I applied for my job 10 years ago, I had to Google what palliative care meant, even though I was applying for the manager role. I knew very well what hospice meant, had some very positive experiences in our family with hospice, but palliative care 10 years ago was a pretty new concept. So hospice generally means that the life expectancy is about 6 months or less. It can go much longer than that, but that's the general rule of thumb, that 2 physicians are saying this person, in our case, this child, has 6 months or less to live. Those can be brain tumor children, inoperable seizure or heart condition children, or little babies that have trisomy issues or other chromosomal abnormalities that are not conducive to going into all the way into their childhood and adulthood. Palliative care is much broader, so it encompasses hospice. All hospice is not palliative care, but all hospice is palliative, but all palliative is not hospice. Palliative can be involved for many different reasons, but our focus is on quality of life generally. People who have a focus on a holistic approach, they don't necessarily want to do every medical intervention that's available for their child. Some families may choose to have a really serious discussion with our team about what if a tracheostomy is recommended. Is that that means a lot for a family. It's more monitoring, it's more equipment. It can take away the child's ability to speak. So our team is there to help just kind of weigh the pros and cons for a family. The really cool thing about palliative care is we're about comfort or symptom management. We want our kids comfy, cozy, but mostly just super happy being at home, where most kids would prefer to be. So on our team, we have 2 social workers, and their role is to provide supportive counseling to our patients as they're approaching end of life, moms and dads, grandparents, siblings. They provide that supportive counseling, but we also have families who are also, in addition to having a life-limiting condition or terminal condition for their child, they may also be experiencing poverty. And so our social workers are very good at linking our families to community resources like the diaper bank, food pantries, rent assistance, and things like that. Some families end up having financial support or issues just because, in my case, if one of my sons were to be given a terminal diagnosis, you better believe that I'm going to try to work less and be home with my child more, but then that obviously would impact our family's income. So our social workers are really critical pieces of the puzzle to try to help families navigate the sort of emotional and concrete needs that come up when you have a child with a terminal or life-limiting condition. We have a chaplain on the team, a new chaplain. She provides, she'll be providing ashes to families, going out to homes and providing ashes for families that wish to receive that in the home for Ash Wednesday next week. She provides spiritual support, palliative presence, listening. You know, our families are in sort, no one has a child and expects that their child is going to have a terminal or life-limiting condition. It's just not what we expect when we have children or grandchildren. She helps provide a safe space for families to say, wow, this is not what I expected, or I feel really angry about this, or I feel really sad about this. It's just, you know, it's kind of a bad deal. And kind of normalizes that it's okay to feel that way. You can still be a loving parent and feel that way. And then as you associated to knowing that your child is adulthood is pretty enormous. And so we're there to provide support in whatever way the family identifies that they need. We also have very cool services. We cannot my children's, as you know, our mission is to do the right thing, regardless of ability. We provide massage therapy and music therapy. And those services are non-billable, unfortunately, in the insurance world in the home setting. But we have found that children who have these diagnoses in the hospital can receive massage, child life therapist support, massage therapy support, music therapy, and find it very comforting and helpful. So we hate to have less support at home than they have in the hospital. So the hospital's been very kind in supporting our hospice and palliative care mission, that if that child would benefit from music therapy or massage therapy, we're going to put that in the home and just make it a part of our program. So we do that for all of the patients who are interested in those services. During COVID, it was very interesting to implement, as you can imagine, all of our services, but we got very creative with massage therapy. We had one massage therapist at the time, now we have two, but the massage therapist we had would have a family on Zoom essentially, and they would have their child in front of them. And then she used an old Cabbage Patch doll from her childhood and used the doll as a demonstration for the family to massage their child and talk them through the techniques, show them what to do, talk to them about how to read some of our patients are nonverbal. So she would talk about how to tell if the pressure was good enough or needed a little more, needed a little less. And we even had some big brothers and sisters that got involved in helping do the massage on the other end of the video, which was a cool way for us to be able to involve siblings who sometimes feel overlooked by the medically fragile kids. They get a lot of attention, and you know, brothers and sisters don't always like that. And we've also done some work. We're going to publish a piece, I think, at the end of the year, early next year, on massage and music co-treatment, which has been really amazing and had really cool results. We've always had families that are super happy with massage therapy. We've had families that are super happy with their music therapy, but they've merged to try to do some co-treatments. And it has been really, really exciting. So sometimes massage, you know, for me as an adult, I think of massage therapy as a relaxing intervention. But for some kids, we use massage for stretching if that's a problem. If they're super tight kids, we might use it for dancing or stretching or try to move their muscles. So now what we're doing is we're having the music therapist go and she's playing some fun, upbeat music. Then you have the massage therapist trying to catch this kiddo in action and do some extra pull, extra stretch to really get a good workout in, really, for some of these kiddos that are homebound. And that's been really cool. And then we've also had kids who have a really hard time with sleep for whatever reasons. Their brains are just set to not sleep well. And so we'll use, again, that double intervention with the music therapist playing very soothing, calming music, massage therapist providing very gentle massage. And sometimes that will give not only the patient an hour of rest and sleep and let their body just settle down. It also gives moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas 45 minutes to just go sit in the other room on the couch and close their eyes for a little while we take care of their little one and help make them comfortable. So very excited about what we've been doing in music and massage in the last year. COVID, I know, has made you all creative, and it's definitely when your job is to go home to home to home with all medically fragile children, we have to be so careful about taking COVID from house to house. And so we've been extra cautious, have had no issues. So that's been wonderful. But we're really happy to be full steam ahead back in the home and are glad to be doing that. And I also need to mention our child life specialist, Bonnie. Bonnie is, she's proud to say, almost 80 years old. She is a child life specialist of many years experience. She always has a tote bag full of fun stuff to do. She works in the emergency room at Nationwide Children's, where she's been for many years. And then she also does home visits for my patients and families. And she'll do beautiful art projects while the child is still living. Might be a handprint design, make a flower on a canvas with handprints and paint, and all the children in the family will participate. Mom and dad will participate. And it's a nice project to work on as a family to give some kind of normalcy. We're working on an art project together. We're doing something fun when there's not always a lot of fun at this point in their medical journey. And families really love that. That turns into a real treasure to have in the home. The other part that Bonnie does is works with those siblings after the death of the child, which is so important. I think it's our first death experience at whatever age that happens in our life is very formative. If it's really upsetting and just, really awful or no one talks about it, or, whatever those things are that happen as people try to navigate that, it makes a mark on our spirits, and then it's kind of carried with us, I've seen, through other grief experiences. So we found that by Bonnie intervening with her sort of child development expertise, she really helps guide healthy grief for the siblings. Sometimes they think it's their fault for some reason. Sometimes they have a hard time adjusting to their parents' grief, grandparents' grief. Grandparents are in a terrible position of grieving for their grandchild, their other grandchildren who are living and grieving, and their own children who lost a child. So it's very complicated. So Bonnie just does an amazing job. She does a lot of, it looks like arts and crafts, but what she's doing is facilitating this safe, fun, neutral space. And in that space, little ones will just say, my brother died, just like that, blurt it out. And then that's Bonnie's opening to say, oh, that's so sad. Do you want to tell me about that? And then it just leads to some really important and beautiful conversations that I believe these kids then carry into life, and they have a much better view of grief than they may have if they didn't have an opportunity to work with someone like Bonnie who can help them navigate all those very complicated feelings. And then I would be remiss to not mention my amazing nursing team. We have 8 nurses on our team. They are on call 24/7. We support families, obviously, death visits, end of life in the home. We are the ones that come in and it's like, all right, we know what we're doing. We've got this. We're going to support your family through this. This is the most terrible thing that will probably ever happen. But know that I'm competent, I am capable, and I am going to help make your child comfortable, and we're going to get through this together. Also throughout the journey, that's very scary times, breathing changes, patient seems uncomfortable. You just call the phone number and our nurse, no matter what, answers that phone, talks you through it. Sometimes we'll come out in the middle of the night if we need to help just reassure you or to do some adjustments to medications to make sure that these kids are all cozy and comfortable at home, which is our top priority. As Linda mentioned, we lose a lot of money every year. Nursing is all we can bill for. I sit on the board, Linda mentioned, at the Ohio Council for Home Care and Hospice, and just so blessed to work at Nationwide Children's, because the more for-profit companies or the companies that are just trying to operate in the black really struggle. The reimbursement is just terrible for home health. and for hospice. So the fact that I can do what I assess I need to do for patients, and Nationwide Children's has my back, even if that means that we're running at a $250,000 a year deficit, which we are. That is part of our mission. One of my very best friends is one of the ENTs at Children's, and they make pretty good money over there in ENT. So I tell her to just keep doing what she's doing, keep doing those surgeries, because it balances out at Nationwide Children's. And I say she's helping my budget by bringing in some good revenue over there in ENT. But Linda's group that she mentioned, the Butterfly Guild, the play that they do next weekend, great thing to take kids and grandkids to, by the way. I have 2 teenagers who do not want to go, but I have a 6-year-old and he is very excited about this. The play is always top notch. They are following all of the CAPID COVID precautions. The play, all of the actors are volunteers, the director, everybody involved are volunteering their time, but it's professional level performance, set, costumes. It's really amazing. So I look forward to it every year. That is our biggest fundraiser. So if you can support it, that would be awesome. And then the Butterfly Guild that Linda mentioned, they are our biggest supporter. I always say that I don't think that when Children's Foundation meets with potential donors, it's not always the most fun thing to talk about, to say, did you know that we have a hospice program and that children do die, in Central Ohio? So we really appreciate the support of some of the donors that we have in the community who try to offset some of those huge losses that we have every year, because we just try to do the right thing. If you want to donate, sometimes I do these talks and people email me and say, how do we donate? You can just go to the nationwidechildrens.org website and go to giving, and then you can select the hospice program if that's something that you're interested in doing. So I want to leave room for any questions or comments, but I want to read to you a portion of a letter that a mom of one of our patients sent to Tim Robinson, our absolutely fantastic CEO at Nationwide Children's. Some of you may know Tim. He's been around for decades, very dedicated to NCH. But we took care of this child in our palliative and hospice team. And mom wrote a beautiful letter. And I won't read the whole thing, but I would like to read part of it to you, because I think it's important to understand what our team means to patient families in the community. So if you'll allow me, I'll just read that here. Dear Mr. Robinson, I'm writing you today to express our thanks for your hospital's care of my sweet Finn, who passed away peacefully in the care of your hospice program on December 3rd. Finn had 2 rare autosomal recessive diseases, Tay-Sachs disease and Escobar syndrome. We are in the care of Yale New Haven Hospital in Connecticut prior to moving to Columbus to be brought closer to family. Moving to Columbus was the best decision we've ever made, because it brought us to Nationwide. I've been trying to find a way to express our gratitude to all of the people who cared for our babe, and maybe the best way I can do that is to tell you just how much your hospital means to us. The palliative care and hospice team took amazing care of Finn. They loved him from their hearts, not because it was their job, but because they truly cared. When we met them for the first time, I realized how much we needed them. They filled a tremendous gap in our care for him, one that helped my husband and I show up even more for Finnegan when the gravity of our situation was getting more real and we were struggling with not wanting to think about decisions that we needed to begin discussing. They guided our thoughts, helped us figure out our philosophy of care, and empowered us to care for him the way we wanted. They kept our goals for him at the center of everything they did to keep him comfortable and have no pain. Their robust team worked absolutely seamlessly together, which I'm sure is a great feat and something designed with intention. I am so saddened that there are families out there who don't get to have our level of care for their children, because you truly are top-notch providers. Hospitals should pay you to get their palliative and hospice programs up to your standards. You can't really get any better comment than that. Finnegan's nurse, Amanda, has to be one of the best nurses, and she met so many of our needs during the hardest time of our lives. Before we had Nationwide, I used to spend hours trying to figure out his many mysteries, connecting with new ever-growing list of specialists, scheduling the numerous doctor's appointments, and talking to insurance. When Amanda came into the picture, I was able to spend that precious time with my son, and Amanda did the runaround for us. It was such a gift, and I feel its importance could be easily overlooked. This was a huge weight lifted off our shoulders. Again, I kept feeling that Nationwide spends time engineering the patient and family experience to be as life should be. There is so much more I could say, and many more names of people at Nationwide who helped Finn and our family. I hope this helps to explain even some of the depth of our gratitude for what you have done for us. We'll forever miss our sweet boy, but because of your team, we were able to give him what we desperately wanted. If he couldn't change his prognosis, a peaceful and pain-free passing. So I will end with that. And although it is very sad, and you will never find someone more proud of their team. You know, people always say, oh, you must be a good person. I really don't do any of the hard things at Nationwide Children's. I have a team of 16 people who absolutely love all of these kids, all of the families without judgment. We just go in and we say, how can we help? You tell us what to do. We walk alongside you. We're not directing the care. We want these kids to be comfortable and to have a good life experience for as long as they have. And my team, just like she said, we engineer things to be the best that they can possibly be. And I could not love my job more, and I could not be more proud of the team that I have. So I will wrap up there and wonder if anybody has any questions. Nothing is silly. I'm gonna pull the chat up here. Thank you, Denise.
Any questions or comments? Or if you're on Zoom, just come off mute if you have a question.
Hey, Laura, this is Steph. I have a quick question. What types of things are you able to do to support your staff and kind of refuel and rebuild that drive and that energy that it takes them out into this world on a regular, that's their job.
Yeah.
I know people, really do struggle with that. And I'm just curious, like, because you're so limited financially, like how do you put that juice back in there so they can keep going?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I started 10 years ago, they weren't really doing any self-care as part of the practice. I reached out to the foundation at Yoga on High. And until COVID, for like 8 years, they had a volunteer yoga instructor come and we would turn all the lights out and do essentially like a yoga nidra, which is sort of a like guided meditation yoga. So we brought that in. We were so grateful for Yoga on High Foundation for doing that. That is, NCH isn't allowing any, outside volunteers in because of COVID. So that has stopped. We debrief after every single death formally, give the team who was at the death opportunity to just kind of share what that was like and what was hard and what was beautiful. And there's, tears and happiness and, just kind of go through that story. We try to gather. I think that my team would identify gathering together is the most helpful thing. So before COVID, every other month I would close the office for half an hour in an afternoon and we would do something. We've done all kinds of silly things. We've gone to Lynn's Fruit Farm and picked apples. We'll go out to lunch and try a new restaurant. We've done an escape room. We've done all kinds of different things. Our medical director, Stephen Smith, and his wife kindly hosted a lunch a few months ago in their home. And we just ordered lunch in from Carfagna's and just sat around and talked and enjoyed the afternoon. And then the only person responding to the on-call stuff was just one nurse, which we rotate for those. I'm social worker by background and spirit. So I care very much about people's feelings and emotional well-being. So I am really good at checking on people, sending cards, sending notes, acknowledging at any opportunity, wow, this nurse really had a rough on-call weekend, maybe call it out to our VP who will kind of come over and say, hey, Laura told me how great you were this weekend, that you really shined. And we just want to say thank you. So our engagement scores are a 10 out of 10 on my team, which is amazing. And our satisfaction scores for patient experience are over 4.5 out of 5 consistently. So we just have a highly engaged team of people. Everyone loves the job. Everybody feels like they're meant to be there. This is not a job that you do if you don't really feel called to doing it. I think we do a lot, but it's really just kind of woven into the day. But a lot of me focusing on acknowledging how hard the work is and how grateful I am to witness what they do every day, because it's really amazing work. Thank you for the question.
Anyone else?
I have one other
All right.
quick question.
Go ahead, Steph.
Sorry. One other quick question. For the families that are working through and navigating this journey, do you have like a support group or a program in place to have those parents and those families be able to reach out to others that are really struggling with those difficult decisions along the way?
Yes, and I'm so glad you said that. I forgot a very critical part of our program. So to answer your question, yes, we have right now a virtual support group that's led by chaplain and social work. We send out, a postcard invitation with the dates for the year for families. We remind them throughout the year as they're added to our service. We grew 30% in both of the last 2 years. We've grown in palliative care 30%. So we are growing and growing. And I think for me, having another mom, one of my children has some mental health challenges, and having another parent to talk to who is experiencing that is, like you say, so important. So we do have the support group for active patients. And then a super critical piece of what we do is our bereavement program. So to be a hospice, you have to have a 12-month bereavement support program for any hospice for any age. We found that for the first 6 months after a child dies through Nationwide Children's, there are a lot of families that they don't want to drive by Children's, which is difficult the more gigantic our campus becomes, but they don't want to have any association with Children's for a while. It's like, I need a break. It's too much of a reminder. So what was happening is we had this 12-month bereavement program, and then 6 months in, you'd have a family say, okay, I feel like I'm ready to engage in that bereavement support. And then we only have 6 months left, which just doesn't seem adequate. So what we offer at Nationwide Children's is a 2-year bereavement program for any child who dies on our hospice or palliative care program, to offer those families support. And it can be grandparents, siblings, parents, whoever, best friend. We have some teenagers and young adults that are on our service. Sometimes, it's a best friend or boyfriend or girlfriend or other people that are experiencing that loss. We want to be inclusive to all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank
you for being
you.
here. Important work that you do and incredible work that you and your team do. And we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to Linda for inviting Laura and also for everything you've done for many years with Butterfly Guild. Really important work, and good luck with the musical.
Come to the play. Bring kids.
Yes, everyone go to the play. So next week, our speaker is Courtney Smackers, who's the executive director of She Has a Name, which is great. She's coming next week because the week after that, we're going to do another club in service, and we're going to be putting packs together to be distributed by the She Has a Name Foundation. Our quote for today comes from Danny Thomas. Success in life has nothing to do with what you gain in life or accomplish for yourself. It's what you do for others. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. See you next week.